We no afraid, we no see no one where we afraid of. We no afraid, we no see no one where we afraid of. Yeah, this is Everton Blender. And it's all about the young police from Jamaica, seeing Young Police Channel. Big up yourself, Everton Blender said that. We no afraid, we no see no one where we afraid of.
Yes, welcome to the Jamaica Young Police Channel. To our loyal viewers and subscribers, at the channel we are a group of law-abiding citizens who believe in the rule of law and respect the rights of every citizen, but not the ones who do not subscribe to such behavior. We do believe in and support preemptive strikes because it saves lives. That is a logical conclusion because preemptive strikes save lives and prevent the further loss of lives. We are all about saving lives on this channel. We at this channel aid criminals, their financiers, their supporters, enablers, and the likes with a passion, and we do not want them over here. Yes, let us repeat ourselves. We do not want any criminal supporters over here. Please, we do not want your views, your subscriptions, your likes, or your comments. Please go elsewhere where the red carpet is waiting for you. Over here, we want you, the criminal supporters, enablers, financiers, and all the likes, to go to prison or madness. Let me repeat myself. We at the Jamaica Young Police Channel, we do not want the criminal supporters and their circle over here. We want you to go to prison or madden. Moving on to our video. Yeah.
LCD, you're looking at a man. Your man is a Jamaican and he goes by the name Javon Pinnock. And you know Javon Pinnock, he's wanted for the murder of Javon Jamison, aka Blingers. And you know Blingers was a Jamaican in the United States of America, law-abiding citizen who believed in the rule of law, and he wasn't doing anything illegal or inappropriate in America. And this man, because he feel like he can do anything and get away with it, killed this young man. So now that he's wanted, we want you, wherever you see him, please call 119, let the police know that he's wanted in New York, in Queens, for the murder of this young man. And so that they can extradite him, or if he put up any form of resistance, they can send him to departure alone. That would be justice. So we're appealing, we're begging you, please use your conscience, decency, ethics, and your humanity. Yes, we are a human family. We over at the Jamaica Young Police Channel say informer for live and gunman for dead. And we say that without no apologies. So moving on to today's. Yes, you know, Mr. Commissioner of Police, Mr. Minister of National Security, and the Prime Minister, and to our audience member. It's not only brought to my attention, but I have seen it, and this is troubling. The cops who killed Tipman and their families are at risk because their names, their rank, their regulation numbers, and their photographs are in the public domain. After the 100 done, Tipman was shot and killed by the police. We don't know if it was done by malice or it was done because police officers who are a batchmate or squaddies of these cops want to show that they know them. And this is something that is troubling, and it can cause these cops to lose their lives or members of their families. Because you know that in Jamaica 2025, it's not like in my time when you're a policeman, your family is respected by the criminals because they know the consequences of messes with your family. But you know that things have been normalized and the criminals are always the ones who are being protected by the system. So this is an appeal. I am begging, I am beseeching you guys to go back to the era when police that were involved in shootings. Mr. Commissioner of Police, you can ask man like Assistant Commissioner of Police MacArthur Sutherland. Yes, because he have been around longer than me, like yours truly, or even DSP Norman Hamilton. And back in the days when they used to write in entries when you're involved in shooting, the only person know that you were involved in a fatal shooting of killing anyone are the police officers who were present there. Your name, your regulation number, your rank, even the firearm that you use would never be written in the crime or the station diary. Everything is written as the British has left us, the police. It was nothing to do with you because you represent the state, the police. All of this changes because, as you have seen, it has been changed because the PMP LGBTQ plus criminal organization, you know that they have the majority of the criminals in Jamaica and then breed them like chinks. They weren't able to arrest and charge police officers with murder, according to them. So when these people would give statements to the investigators, and when all these files were submitted to the Director of Public Prosecution, 99% of the time, the police officer or officers that these people in this community name as the person who fired the fatal bullets were not the police officers that did it. And that saved many police officers from going on suspension and being arrested and charged with murder. The PMP LGBTQ plus criminal organization in 1994, because they breed criminals like chinks and they wanted to be one step ahead of the police to protect their criminals. They are the one that created Tickman by giving credence to criminals in Jamaica. Give us Klansman gang and Klansman gang. One order had to form to protect their community from them. And now we have these parasites. So we at the Jamaica Young Police Channel, based on our experiences, because we have been through even the same things that has been going on right now that's exposing police officers. But now it's a digital age. So once your name is out there, people can circulate a photograph. Do you know how much corrupt police officers do you have in the police force? Do you know how many corrupt police officers right now, because this man is dead, is upset because their feeding tree is gone? The same way that Donovan Bulby Bennett was taking care of Renita Adams and Harry Bungles and other police officers who were collecting money from him, is the same way it was going on with this criminal too. So as we said before, it has come to my attention that the regulation numbers, ranks, names, and even photographs of the police officers involved in the operation that resulted in the fatal shooting of Tickman, One Daddy Badness, are now circulating all over the internet. And I am so upset. I should be sleeping, but the amount of messages and call that I'm getting from police officers currently says they are afraid of their squad mates. I'm not going to call the police officer's name, even the detective inspector. Oh, is this when we had the shooting in Westmoreland with the police officers, with all of the people that were not one, and I was praising the police hierarchy for protecting the identity of these police officers, and now they killed this Dan, and all of these police officers' names are out there. And you know that the corrows and the corrobunkers and the dirty bungles, they say that they want blood, because this is what the PMP has given us from 1989 until now, and we are trying to take back our country from these people. It doesn't matter because the gunman was Labourite. They weren't this aggressive or this kind of people back then. Although we know that they're dangerous people too. But we know that the PMP are more ruthless. They are all criminals. We don't support criminality. So this reckless and dangerous exposure is a glaring reminder of a policy first introduced by the PMP LGBTQ plus led government in 1994. A government I regard as complicit in endangering the lives of law enforcement officers for political and criminal gain. This practice of publicly disclosing sensitive information about officers not only compromises their safety but also emboldens criminals and incite violent retaliation. The officers who serve and protect the Jamaican people are being deliberately placed in harm's way, leaving them and their families vulnerable to the very criminals they are tasked with confronting. As a veteran of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, who proudly served from the late 1980s until when I had left, I can attest to a time when such information was strictly confidential. During my early tenure, the identities of officers present at the scene of a fatal shooting were known only to those directly involved, the officers present, the investigators, and in some cases, witnesses. Even then, it was common for witnesses to fabricate their accounts, often wrongly accusing officers of misconduct. So this is what they used to do. Once they see a certain police exiting the scene of a fatal shooting, and they know that police have a reputation of fearless. And I can call names, like you have some police where most of the time if they are present in a fatal shooting, people would say that he's the one that killed the gunman or gunman, Donovan O'Connor. Not cowboy so much, but Donovan O'Connor. That would be good for you as the police officer who did it, because they're going to fabricate and tell lies on him. And when the statements and the forensic report and everything, it shows that he did not fire. So that would be good for you. So that they're right known then and there that these people are lying. There haven't been anything to prevent the people from lying on the police. These lies really held up under investigation, protecting officers from unjustly arrested or charged. So this was what protect even yours truly when I was in the police force. Because when they lie on others, and when they found out, when these cases, some cases go to coroner's court, some don't, and when they go to coroner's court, and these people come to testify, and then the clerk of court will tell the good court that this witness is a liar because the forensic report doesn't match what the witness is saying, and they will dismiss them and end up the case, justify a shooting. And the PMP is the one that makes sure that the names of the police officers, your regulation number, your rank, your full name, and the firearm that you use, and the amount of rounds that you fire during the shooting. That was information that was out there. So when these people would go to the morgue and look at the body, and they would plan their lies, 99% of the time, the officers who killed these criminals never charged with murder. Until the PMP came in with this policy. Because you have we have many corrupt police officers in the police force, especially activists. When we say activists, we attack PMP, LGBTQ+, criminal organization, police officers in our police force. They are not police, they are criminals in uniform. So once a fatal shooting happened, they would go in the crime diary and look for the names of the police officer who fire how many rounds, and they would go back and tell the Dan. And then the Dan, they would fabricate, get the witnesses, women, most of the time it's women, or sometimes criminals too. And they would give statement against the police. And that's how many police officers were arrested and charged with murder, because of this policy that the PMP had instituted in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. The thing is that they have never implemented policies to reduce crime. They have always introduced policies to criminalize the police. And the opportunist politician, Bruce Golding, is the one that come and put the nail in the coffin. However, the PMP LGBTQ plus criminal organization decision to publicize this information mark a dangerous turning point. This policy implemented during their administration appear less about accountability and more about appeasing their constituents, many of whom were closely tied to criminal elements. By exposing the identities of officers, they created a chilling effect, leaving police fearful of performing their duties and emboldening those who wish them harm. So this cannot be allowed to continue. The brutal murder of Detective Corporal Joshua Graham, first enough people are hear him name, in Constant Spring Police era, remain a stark and painful reminder of what happened when officers' identities are exposed when they kill criminals. Graham was assassinated while sitting in an armed police vehicle at a stoplight, an act of targeted violence that shocked the nation, but sadly did not result in the policy changes needed to prevent future tragedies. I am calling on the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Minister of National Security, and the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, to take immediate action to protect the identity of police officers involved in sensitive operations. Failure to do so will not only jeopardize their safety, but will compromise the moral and effectiveness of the JCF. So these policemen who were involved in that, they photograph all over the internet. Don't you think that, can't remember, Jamaica is a criminal's paradise, people is going to say, oh, he's my neighbor. So now that policeman and his family, now these policemen and their family, they are in danger. To the government, I implore you, prioritize the lives and well-being of those who serve on the front lines of Jamaica fight against crime. The men and women of the JCF are not pawns in a political game. They are mothers, fathers, sons and daughters who risk their lives daily to maintain law and order. Do not let their sacrifices be in vain. Protect their identity, protect their family, protect Jamaica's future. Stop exposing the identity of police officers. The police officers who were involved in the operation that resulted in the fatal shooting of Titman, also known as Wandale Bandits, along with their families, are now at risk because their names, ranks, and photographs have been made public. This irresponsible act of exposing their identity has created a dire situation, endangering not only the officers, but also their loved ones. Remember the detective inspector from SeaTac, whose father was killed in Riversdale police area. The man who took the Klansman gunman, assassin up there to kill this man, will reveal it is a Klansman, is the Klansman gang brain following the death of this notorious criminal figure. Elements within the society who sympathize with such individuals are being provided with the information needed to retaliate. By circulating this sensitive information, the lives of these officers are being recklessly jeopardized and Jamaica's justice system is undermined. This reckless exposure is not new. It's a continuation of a dangerous policy introduced during the 1990s under the PMP criminal organization government, which openly publicized the identity of police officers involved in fatal shooting. And when I say that, I'm talking their name would be in crime diary and station diary. I myself have faced the repercussion of this kind of policies that they implement. At one point, it's 40 people lied on me after the Black Road. And it's the man who survived the attack and whose life I saved. That's why I'm here. I would be in prison because of these wicked people. This decision, implemented under the guise of transparency, only served to embolden criminals and incite violence against law enforcement officers. Many view it as a strategic move to weaken the police force by making officers afraid to perform their duties, while simultaneously protecting criminal elements aligned with political interests. And that's how we get Indicom. That's the main goal. It's the same time when the PMP in 1994 implement this policy, wanted Indicom. Just go and do your research. If it wasn't for Edward Siaga at the time, we would have Indicom. He told PJ Patterson, no way, if we give Jamaica Indicom, that would be the end of this country. We'll be handing it over to the criminals. So said, so done. Bruce Golding did it. But thank God he resigned in disgrace. So as a former member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, I can testify that this was not the way policing used to be handled. Back then, the identity of officers involved in sensitive operations were strictly confidential. Only those directly involved, along with investigators, knew the details. Even instances where witnesses provide statements, the information was often fabricated, designed to mislead investigations and implicate officers unfairly. The confidentiality of officers' identity served as a protective measure, ensuring that they could serve without fear of retaliation or false accusation. However, this introduction of this public marked a turning point by exposing the names and photographs of officers. The system placed a target on their backs. This was particularly dangerous in a country like Jamaica, where criminal organizations wield significant power and often supported by political figures. Like this man now, he felt like he was more powerful than even the Prime Minister. Called himself Daddy Badness. The murder of Detective Corporal Joshua Graham, who was ambushed and killed in a marked police vehicle while at a stoplight in Constant Spring Police here, is a painful reminder of what happened when officers' identity are exposed. His assassination was a calculated act of revenge, one that could have been prevented had his identity been protected. Sadly, Graham's death is not an isolated incident. The deliberate exposure of officers involved in fatal shooting has repeatedly led to targeted attacks against them, leaving their families to mourn and their colleagues demoralized. This reckless pattern continues to have devastating consequences. Officers now face a chilling dilemma: perform their duties and risk their lives, or refrain from taking actions and allow criminals to operate unchecked. This untenable situation has only emboldened criminals, elements further destabilizing communities already plagued by violence. So I'm calling on the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Kevin Blake, Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, and Prime Minister Andrew Holness to take immediate and decisive action to end this dangerous practice. The following steps must be taken: ensure confidentiality. The identity of police officers involved in sensitive operations must be protected. Their names, rank, photographs should never be made public. This matter of national security and the safety of those who serve. Just the same way as the shooting in Negril, where the police and the gunmen, even men from Kingston, were involved in that robbery. Not one of the police officers' names were revealed, and I was so happy. I did a video about it. 2, implement strict protocol. Strengthen protocols to prevent the unauthorized release of sensitive information. Those found responsible leaking such detail must be held accountable. So whenever a fatal shooting happens, there should not be any diary entry with a police name. Everything's supposed to be used as the police. Not the police officer's name, the police. Because you are serving the government. You are not the government. You are the police. So that's why the Englishman, whenever you were in shooting, the Englishman did not put your name. They said the police. So when they shoot, they did not shoot at Christopher Porter, they shoot at the police. It's the PMP did that. 3. Support and protect officers. Establish a robust support system for officers and their families, including secure housing and access to psychological counseling. Officers must feel that the government and the JCF have their backs. Legislative action introduce laws to criminalize the unauthorized disclosure of police identities and serve penalty for violators. 5. Make it a felony to lie on police officers and make sure that these people have criminal records permanently. Yes, make it a felony for people to lie on police officers. I have been lied on so many times. But because the truth always prevails, I have never been on suspension, interdiction, or arrested and charged with any crime, because I always follow the rules and the laws of Jamaica. The men and women of the Jamaica Constabulary Force put their lives on the line every day to protect our communities. They deserve our gratitude and unwavering support, not to be vilified, targeted, or betrayed. By exposing their identity, we are not only endangering their lives, but also undermining the very fabric of law and order. The government of Jamaica, stop playing politics with the lives of police officers. Protect their identity, protect their families, and protect the future of Jamaica. This is a big win for law-abiding citizens in Jamaica, and a big loss to criminals. As we say, 2025, we want every criminal to have a bad day. Have yourself a beautiful day. Jamaica Young Police Channel out.